Welcome back to another product review, everybody. We're going to get straight to the point here because we do have a lot of items to review today, but they all come from the same company, and that is Go Guarded. Now, Go Guarded is a company that focuses on producing safety products and tools that you can use while you're out running or walking by yourself, whether it's on a bike path, a running path, through the neighborhood, through the forest reserves, whatever the case may be. But they are all items that are meant to keep you safe and feel confident that you can protect yourself were you ever to be attacked in any sort of type of situation. Now, they have a variety of products that they offer. All are extremely effective in my opinion, and they all work really well. And the nice thing is that they have a lot of different options available. So if you don't like one thing, there are many other items and variations of those items that you can pick from. Go Guarded was extremely generous enough to send us one of everything, so we have a ton of things to show you and review today. If you're interested in any of these items or want to see any more information, they will all be posted down in the link below, so please give that a check out. Check out Go Guarded themselves and show them some support. But either way, let's get right to it. Now we're going to start off with one of their first items, in my opinion, which is kind of one of the more basic ones. If you've seen one, you've seen them all, and that's pretty much the Kubotan or the self-defense keychain. We have done some reviews of these in the past from different companies, but again, you know, every kind of company has their own little variation, and Go Guarded is no different in that sense. So if you can look at it, this is pretty much their standard Kubotan or again self-defense keychain that they have and that they offer. Now, one thing that you will notice, and again, I'm not going to go too much into this product because it's not that much different than a lot of other self-defense keychains out there, but there are some differences, and the main one being is it has a nice rubber coating, which I do not see very often when it comes to this type of self-defense tool. A lot of them are just pretty much straight steel or metal all the way across, which, as I've mentioned in previous videos, once you kind of get into a situation, or if you're running and your hands are sweaty, it gets a little bit harder to hold on to it. But because this has a nice rubber coating, it does make for a nice grip on your hand. It doesn't slide out as much. They also do a nice job by allowing for the grooves, which I've said also in previous videos, helps a lot more with your fingers actually being able to hold on to it. So they've done a nice job already just with this. But let's get to one of the bigger parts on this, which is the end and the actual point itself. Now, you'll notice that this is a common theme in all of their products in general, which you'll kind of see as we start going through them. But the main thing that you can see here is, yes, it is rubber coated at the end, but as you release this rubber coating, there's a nice point on the top. They also got nice rigid points down on the side. Now, it is not steel, it is incredibly hard plastic, but let me tell you that this point is still incredibly sharp, and these sides are very sharp. So if you were to but if you were to be attacked and you use this against somebody, this will penetrate their skin very easily and could cause severe damage. But again, that just depends on the type of situation you're in, and the type of damage that you decide to do all depends on those circumstances as a whole. But the nice thing about this coating here is it does protect you as the defender from cutting your hand or, you know, inflicting yourself by any sort of damage in the result of the attack itself. But notice that once you do make contact with the skin, that the rubber coating does happen to push back and it exposes the blade underneath. So it is nice in that sense that I can carry it and not worry about it. You know, if it touches my arm or something, it's not going to cut me, compared to if this is just an open blade. Yes, there's a chance that you're going to cut yourself in the process, but this protects you. But again, it's easily removable as it makes contact with your attacker. So as a whole, it's a very nice self-defense keychain. Again, this isn't one that I necessarily would carry around while I'm running per se, but if you're walking through a parking lot, through stores, if you have to go, you know, if you're by yourself at night or something, absolutely carry one of these. Maybe not, again, necessarily if you are running. The only thing that I would suggest that Go Guarded does with one of these down the road is make one that's a little bit thicker, only because, at least for my hand, it's a little too thin for my hand, so I can't even tell sometimes that I'm holding on to it when I was playing around with it a little bit, whereas some of the other ones I have are a little bit thicker. So for me, because I have a bigger hand, it makes sense for me to hold on to one that's a little bit thicker compared to this one. But again, that all kind of depends. So if anything, Go Guarded come out with a couple of different size options that people can choose from. But as a whole, this is a great intervention, or a great invention itself, and how you've adapted the, you know, standard self-defense keychain. You've added the rubber coating to it. You've added the different style blade as well as the rigid blade on the side. So they have innovated this product a little bit more than what I've seen in the past. Again, I've never seen one like this. I've seen ones that are pointed and such, but never to this extent. And again, nothing with ever I've seen with ever the rubber coating at the end. So nice job on this one, but let's get to the next one. It is extremely popular. It's one of their hot items. In my opinion, it's not one that I personally would carry. I would actually probably carry the Kubotan before I would carry this. The last items that we will go over today, however, will be my favorites, but that's besides the point. But right now, it is a self-defense ring. Now, I'm showing you the two different colors just to show you that they have different options. You've got your black here, you've got your green here. Again, they have multiple different colors and options available. Same thing as before, it has a rubber coating. And once you remove it, there is a nice blade. It's a little bit bigger, obviously, than what the Kubotan was, just so you can kind of see the difference in the size of the blades that they offer. So quite a different size difference. But again, it's still made out of the hard plastic. It's not steel or metal by any means, but it's still sharp and it still gets the point across. Now, Get it? That was a bad joke. But anyways, they do have different options. It's the same ring, but they have different fittings. As you can see here, you can adjust the fitting so it can fit any one of your fingers, as well as obviously different hand sizes. I've fitted the black to go with my hand, so we'll play around with that one. But it simply slides on just like a ring, and here you go. So looking head on at your fingers, this is what it looks like. If you were to make a tight fist head on, if you were to turn your fist sideways, this is what it's going to look like from the side. So as you can tell, it is a nice point. And same thing, once you make that contact with the skin in the hand, you'll see that the rubber coating actually starts to get pushed back, exposing the full extent of the blade as well. So again, it protects me as a person utilizing it, that I'm not going to damage myself. But once you make that contact with something, it does expose the blade and they're going to feel the full impact. Now, in regards to the product, the only thing I don't like necessarily is how it has to be used. Now, when I first saw this, I thought this was one that when I'm making a punch this way, I thought the blade was going to be coming out this way and attacking somebody, similar to kind of like a brass knuckle aspect, which I thought was interesting, but it is more on this sense. Now, I can't jab somebody because, as you can tell, I'm going to make contact with the fingers before the blade even gets close. So the only real way that I have found to be able to attack back with this and actually get strikes done with this is if you have like an open hand and you're scratching and you're kind of just slashing across the face a little bit, or if you make a tight fist and you kind of do a knocking motion. So picture as if you're kind of knocking on somebody's front door. That's the type of strike that you're going to have to do to get this. Now, it's not saying that that strike's bad, but it's also not a very common way for somebody to fight back. I feel like a lot of times people are either just going to have an open hand and they're going to strike, or they're going to make a close fist and punch. Now, if that's the case, you're going to punch them with the top of this, which could still cause some damage, but it's not going to do damage long term compared to being able to get the point of the blade. But again, that's just how normal people react and strike when they don't have actually extensive training in the proper different ways of striking. Someone that has a little bit more martial arts background will understand how to adapt it properly, and they will easily convert to this more of a knocking motion, hammer fist type motion, where if someone were to grab you or come up to you, I can easily just start coming down like this, land a few strikes, and I can run away. So if you are purchasing one of these rings, understand that it is a little bit different on how you have to fight back with it. So get comfortable with that idea. Do not just purchase these. And again, this is kind of a rule of thumb for any self-defense tool in that matter. Never purchase one of these or anything and just put it on your hand, your arm, your purse, whatever the case is. Do not equip it without actually practicing it. If you decide that you want to carry one of these, you have to actively practice and understand how to use it so that you don't get caught off guard in a situation and you spend more time fumbling over trying to figure out how it works when you could have prepared for that early on. So again, just understand that this is a little bit different on how it strikes. But in regards, besides that point, it's extremely light. It fits on your finger. You can run with it. You can move your hands. I have full mobility. Now, the one thing I will like about this is the fact that I have full mobility in my hands. I can use my hands. I can block. I can grab things. I can strike things. But then I also have the option to do a point. So again, for instance, somebody grabs my arm and starts abducting me. I can fight back a little bit. Maybe I can throw a heel palm to the face and then turn and start striking down on their hand or whatever it is that's grabbing me. And I can start causing damage here, resort back to striking in the face, and then going back to striking on the arm and hopefully break that grip and get away. So there are options available with this. Again, we might post some self-defense videos later on how to use these in different types of situations, but for now we're simply just kind of focused on the review as a whole. It's extremely sturdy, it's extremely durable, it's not made of any cheap materials by any means, it's extremely comfortable, which I'm surprised about, especially because it's more plastic based, but when you slide it on your fingers, it's extremely comfortable, it goes right on without any issues, and again, it does have the adjustable width, so again, you can fit your different fingers, whichever one you prefer. I kind of keep it on my index finger when I was playing around with it, but that's just my personal preference. But it is nice, extremely lightweight, extremely affordable. Now, I have noticed with a lot of these blades, if you were to use this in a real situation, depending on the impact and where on the body you are striking, you are not going to get a lot of uses out of these blades, but that's just the way that these things are designed. They will save you, they will do the damage that it needs to be done, but it's not something where if you were to use this in a real situation, you do the damage, and then let's say you get attacked a month later, I don't think that the blade will be in a good condition to where you can defend yourself multiple times. So it might be one where you have to kind of buy a replacement after the one-time use. But at the end of the day, if you had one of these and it saved your life and allowed you to get away safely, then it's done its, it pretty much made its money back for you. And I would just go buy another one anyway, because if it saved you once, it'll save you again. So it'll definitely be worth the money in that end. But it's innovative. I've seen some other self-defense rings to an extent, but nothing along these lines. I find this one extremely innovative, and again, go guarded. Hats off to you for creating a product like this. And again, it's your most common one, it's your popular one, so I can understand why, especially because again, as a runner or someone that's walking on a path, you want something that's hands-free, that's easy to use, you don't have to think twice about it, and it's not a hassle. It's not something I have to fiddle around getting out of my jacket, getting out of my pocket, getting out of my purse, my handbag, whatever the case is. It's accessible, it's on my hand, it's ready to go at all times. What better thing can you ask for? So in regards to this, it's extremely effective in my opinion. Just for me personally, I don't see myself ever using one of these. I, again, would probably prefer one of the other items, but you'll see that when we get to them. But either way, especially if you're uncomfortable with some of those situations, this is definitely a great item to buy. So again, if you're not interested in the black color, they have green, pink, blue, purple. They have all sorts of different colors. So again, head out to the website, links down below, and check them out. But let's move on to the next one. Now, the last one kind of comes in a few different variations with a few different options, and this is personally why I like these ones the best. So I'm going to show you the base option first. Now, the base option alone is simply just kind of a blade. Again, same idea. It's got the rubber coating. You make the contact, the rubber coating moves away. It is a similar size blade to the ring. So as you can see, it's actually a little bit bigger. So they get bigger with size. The Kubotan's the smallest one, the ring's in the middle, and then these handheld ones are obviously the biggest ones. Same exact material, a little bit sharper, a little bit more rigid on the sides. But again, that's just how they're designed. Now, the thing I like about this, and the one thing again that I emphasize that Go Guarded has done extremely well with in regards to their products, is they make them all extremely hassle-free to use. Again, other than the self-defense keychain, because the self-defense keychain, I have to physically hold on to that. If I let go of it, it's going to fall out of my hands. But with this one, because it comes with a hand strap, and again, it's adjustable, you fit it around your hand. So again, I have full use and mobility of my hands at all times. I can run, I can move, I can drink water, and I have this attached to my hand at all times. So it's hassle-free. It's at my disposal whenever I need it. I don't have to pull it out of anything. Again, you don't have to pull it out of your pocket or wherever it is that you store any sort of your self-defense tools in that sense. It is extremely accessible, but more importantly, as I've mentioned, you get the full access of your hand. So again, if you've had extensive training in martial arts or striking or any sort of that sense, I can start off by using strikes, and if worse comes to worse, I have this at my disposal. So the nice thing with this one, it's extremely, obviously if I'm grabbing on nice and tight, it's not gonna move out of my hand, especially with the strap. You can move full throttle, and it doesn't move, stays in place no matter how much you're trying to get rid of it. So it's easy, it's accessible, and I can start working different strikes with it. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend carrying this one like this, only because now the point is facing me. So anytime you're running, the point's coming right at your face in that sense. Yes, I understand some people might like to carry it this way to jab forward, but I would recommend, just for safety of you, carry it with point away. So as you're running, the point's never coming in contact with you. But it is easy. You can work your hammer fist, your back fist, your slashes, all that kind of sense, and still cause a lot of damage. So this is the base one. Now, again, as I mentioned, it comes in different packages. So if you notice, there's a little pouch here in the front that you can store different options, and we're going to go through those here in a second. But they have options of stuff that you can put in here that work in coordinates with the actual blade itself. So that in a sense, you kind of get like a dual weapon in your hand in that matter, which who doesn't want a dual weapon? But anyways, this is the base. The first option that they have is an alarm. Now, looks similar to this. Again, they've kind of, Go Guarded's been very nice about giving you different options to use. And basically with this one, you're getting twofold. I get the actual weapon to defend myself, but then I also get a personal alarm that not only startles my attacker, but also signals to anyone in the area that, hey, something's going on. There's an alarm going on. Let's go check it out, which starts drawing more people to my area. So they're drawing the attention of some people while they're providing you with another tool that you can use to defend yourself. So if you want to listen to just simply the noise of this, the way that this is activated, this is the speaker here, and simply you just have to give this a tug. So it is quite loud. And again, if you're not expecting that, you pull that, attackers, they're going to freak out or they're going to panic. They may take off or they may continue to attack you. But either way, you're drawing the attention and making noise, obviously, for people around you to come to your help and see what's going on. Now, one thing that it does have, and I don't know if this was the intent of it or not, but there's a flashlight. Now, I think that they may have just had the intent of having this flashlight on in case you're running at night and you need to see something. I can shine this flashlight. But if you're a little bit more advanced, if you have the option and you want to trigger the flashlight to blind the person or at least get them to flinch, and that opens up the opportunity to where you can land in a couple strikes, 1-2, jab them with the blade a little bit, and then you can get away. But in a real scheme of things, the chances of you being able to sit here and blind somebody with a flashlight, it's going to be very hard to do in a real situation, but it is an option, so just, don't count it out quite yet. But if you were to put it all together as one unit, now again, you can buy it as a package and you can always just remove the unit as needed, but it's simply, again, just starts like this. So I can grab onto it. I still have full access of using the blade, but I also have the personal alarm attached. So again, it's a quick pull. Just grab onto it, pull, push it back in when you're done, and you're ready to go. Now, most of the time, personal alarms come separate. You have to put them on your keychain or you put them in your pocket, you put them on your handbag. So that way, if you need to use it again, you have to fiddle around. Go Guarded eliminates that and makes it all at your disposal. So again, it's all here. Again, I tested this out running a little bit, moving my hand nice and quick. It doesn't really move. It may slide up a little bit, but it's still tight enough that it's going to stay in place. And again, if you're worried, just kind of make a, you don't even have to make a tight fist right away. I can just hold on to it nice and lightly just to make sure it doesn't move, but it will stay in place. And then again, obviously you have the blade option as well. So this is their first package. They do offer different varieties and colors. So again, if you're not a fan of the blue, they have the black, the red, the green, that type of thing. So you do have the options to switch it out. Now, before we go on to the next one, there is nothing wrong with holding this on one hand and having the ring on the other hand. Now I've got a weapon on each hand in that sense. Again, both are hands free. I can run, I can do whatever I want to do. If I'm attacked, obviously I can do the knocking motion here, and you can start doing hammer fist and back fist here. So you do have the options. Then I can trigger the alarm as I need to. But again, the nice thing with their products is they allow you to mix and match. They allow you to combine them. You can use multiple items at once. It all works in your favor, but it's still very creative. I personally really like just this as it is. I'm normally one that tries to carry a pocket knife with me at all times. So having this at my disposal if I'm out on a run, especially if it's an area that I'm not familiar with, just having this alone, again, it might be just a one-time use if it's used properly, but if it saves my life, then that's all I need. So this is still a great product nonetheless. So if you want to try it with just one, I would recommend starting with just this or going on to the next one, which is that combination, but with pepper spray. Now, a lot of people tend to carry pepper spray. I understand a lot of people carry pepper spray when they're by themselves. The problem with just simply carrying pepper spray is it's a slight distraction. It's not necessarily going to put the person out, but it may give you an opening to where you can attack and move forward if you need to. So that's kind of where a lot of people run into issues. But with this combination, now you have the option where, again, I can simply just flip the switch, push down, pepper spray you, and then start working my strikes in with this as well. So in my opinion, this package alone with the pepper spray and the blade is the best package that they offer. And if you're not comfortable carrying the pepper spray, simply just take it out and you've got the blade alone. So there's really nothing different in this sense other than the fact that they add the pepper spray. It is a very nice just flip switch here, so you can make sure that it's in the lock position so you can't activate it by accident. It's a simple flip of the thumb, and then you pull down, pepper spray is going to go. Now, obviously, as a forewarning with pepper spray, understanding that if you are close enough to your attacker when you spray this, that there's a very good chance of ricochet coming back into your eye, so obviously just be prepared for that. And again, I would recommend that you at least practice spraying the pepper spray, practice initiating the pepper spray, practice unlocking it and getting it done properly so you're not finding yourself fiddling over it if it were to come to a real situation. But the same goes with all of these. Practice striking with these a little bit. Get comfortable holding on to it in your hand. I recommend, we just practice with fruit, vegetables, boxes, just to kind of see how it impacts and how it works. You want to make sure that when you stab or strike, it doesn't get stuck. How do we pull it back out in that type of situation? How can we practice spraying pepper spray and then striking at the same time? That type of thing. So get comfortable with these. You don't have to be a martial arts professional to understand how to use these items, but be comfortable with them. Don't, again, just put these items on your hand and then expect to be able to strike somebody the first time that you get attacked without ever practicing these in the first place. Practice your strikes, practice how it feels. Make sure that you have a nice tight grip so that it's not shifting around in your hand. You want to make sure that when you're striking, you're not striking in a manner that's going to damage yourself in the process, because that's going to limit your ability to fight back safely. So as a whole, Go Guarded has come out with a phenomenal line of products. Again, I try to only review things that I find are actually useful in real situations and that can actually save somebody's life. Now understand this. These products are not designed to be 100% lifesavers, dependable items that you can depend on to save your life. They are assistants, they are tools, they are self-defense tools. They will help you get out of bad situations. And yes, they could potentially save your life. But just because you're carrying one of these, doesn't matter if it's the ring, the keychain, the hand blade, the pepper spray, whatever the case is, you have to understand that it is going to help you get out of those situations. It could potentially save your life, but more importantly, it's going to give you options that allow you to either work in other strikes, work in different types of defenses, work to a better position, and eventually get out of the situation as a whole. So either way, these are great items that I think you should definitely check out. It's definitely worth trying and seeing how you like it. Again, with the hands-free ability, the fact that it's not a hassle to get a hold of and you don't have to pull it out of anything, it's readily available at all times. Definitely something I would recommend. But hats off to you, Go Guarded. Phenomenal products, great innovation. I appreciate you sending us all the items for us to test out and try out for you. We hope to send out some more kind of self-defense videos down the road where you can kind of see some of these items in use in real situations and how we feel about them in actual situations. But again, this was strictly just our review on them. But give them a check out. Let us know what you think again in the comments. Let us know if you would use one of these items and which one would you prefer. We'll see you next time. Stay safe.